A little about myself. I'm a retired law enforcement officer with 20 years of service. I began my career in the jail, worked the road, and became an investigator. During my career, my training consisted of everything from SWAT to becoming a state certified crime scene technician. I've investigated crimes from thefts to homicides. After retiring and becoming aware of true crime and web sleuths, I started my channel for web sleuths to better understand the perspectives of law enforcement. Not only do we cover true crime, I go out into the field and assist families who have lost loved ones to homicide and their cases are considered cold. Join me as we look and bring attention to these critical cases. Hello, everyone. I'm glad y'all were able to join me tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Go over there, and while you're in chat, be mindful to be respectful of families, mods, and each other. Tonight, as I prepared to go back on to the road and next week, working some cold cases up in Midwest, meeting some individuals as far as prosecutors and law enforcement that on those cold cases that I've been working for the last several months and year, then I'll be going on up into Iowa regarding another cold case. So there's a lot of things going on right now, and I'm having to order some equipment that's come in. And whenever I order equipment for the foundation and things that we will use in the future on additional cases, this equipment is not just for one case. Although I buy things, acquire them as we take on certain cases, and just trying to not have a lot of equipment sitting around that's not being used for something that may or may not be used in the future. Whereas if I buy it as it's required, which what we're going to be discussing tonight is on a case that we will be working out on the West Coast. And okay, Mrs. Steve is telling me that the camera angle is bad. Okay, but anyway, I hope that is a little bit better. But as we order this equipment on a as needed, that it does have a. She is okay. She says it's perfect now. She keeps up with stuff for us. But as we need this equipment, and I tried to acquire it in a manner that makes sense. I did this throughout my law enforcement career, as far as once I, in my investigative and the task I was given with my department, that there were certain things as we received training and if we needed certain equipment, a lot of the stuff in the CSI world, we created as we needed, and it's the same here now that it's in private sector. But I want to share some of this stuff with you, and where we're about to head out on the West Coast, meeting with some team members out there regarding a case that is new to us as far as the True Crime Foundation. And I'm looking forward to putting these items on this first case out there. Won't be able to share the information of which case it is currently, but hopefully we'll have some great results during this search. I've hired some professionals in certain fields to assist us in this search. The family is absolutely have been so cooperative and working on this case, and we looked at it from the avenue of what has gone on in the past as far as searches and what resources they wish brought to the table. And there were certain things that they wish had been conducted, certain areas to be searched that the fact that weren't brought either by law enforcement or by people that have been working on the case in the past, that they're most certainly Mrs. Steve. But they appreciate the efforts of the foundation, and I want to thank all our members and all our everyone that participates with the our community. That without y'all's support, we wouldn't be able to do this and go out and have this type of impact and bring the resources that we can to these investigations. But anyway, with that being said, I'll open one of the boxes here. And some of the things that whenever you order them, that of course, I always amazed at what you can find through Amazon, and I do the research on it, trying to identify what is needed when we're researching and what types of resources haven't been brought to certain investigations, and how can we have an impact and try to look in areas or bring certain equipment to these searches that haven't been used. And while you may get certain clues about that, we're about to go into a very wet environment and search for the fact that this item here is a waterproof flashlight that is used by scuba divers. And so I've watched plenty of videos on it, and and I'm not a scuba diver, but we had to order some absolute, make sure that any lighting that we brought to this area that we're going to be exploring takes, it's a very wet environment, and there are also some dry areas. And but this type of camera here is very specialized. Or not this camera, but this flashlight. I have a camera over here that we're going to be looking at in a minute. But anyway, I'm going to turn out this light here, and we'll see what this one does. Oh yeah. But it has multiple settings, so that as we use it, that it's extremely bright, extremely broad, different settings, and it even has. I'm interested on the spectrum of this crime scene processing, a couple of these lighting, and see what it does as far as processing. And even this here, I'm looking forward to see what it does, especially with teeth and bone, because there's certain black lights and everything that illuminate, and I'm looking forward to seeing if this light, what effects it will have. But that's some of the stuff that we're ordering, and like I said, it's highly specialized. And let me figure out how to turn this thing off. There it is, and got that off. Now I need to protect that battery. I'll have to charge these things up. They come with whatever systems, whatever's boxed up. I was looking at videos earlier how to operate these things, and but like I said, if you're unfamiliar with this channel and with what our foundation does, we work cold cases across the country. And when families reach out to the foundation, of course, we have the YouTube side of our channel that we create content on some of these other cases that are in the public's eye. But mostly the cold cases that I work, we don't create content on them until they reach a certain stage of the investigation. And that's the foundation side, the True Crime Web Foundation side. But and then let me get in chat before we get too far behind. See what's going on. Hello, BGOG. Good to see you, Molly. Molly says, "Oh, more cool spy and sleuth stuff." Poor Mrs. Steve, more crime scenes in her house. Yes, with some of the stuff that I have created recently regarding the Durante Martin case, yeah, there was a lot of stuff in the house. Mrs. Steve had to walk around and clean around while we were doing that. Whereas with this is stuff that I'm currently having to build some different types of heads for the extension poles that we'll be using with the system, even in water environments, wells, um, uh, or any type of recessed area that you can't gain easy access to, caves or otherwise, or even when you go out west, there's mines that this camera system will allow us to be able to look in that mining areas, gain access to those extremely dangerous areas without putting a human in that environment. And also in some of the water environments that we wouldn't be able to gain access unless we had some of this equipment. And this next piece of equipment that you'll see here in a minute, this camera system, is designed for both wet and dry environments. Hello, Gail. Hello, Boston Christian. And Sensei, CJK, good to see you. Paula, good to see you. Barbara Hall, good to see you. Looking forward, we'll be going up on the Timmy D's case in the next week. And so there's a lot of things going on with that case also that parallels what, as far as what we were doing with Durante Martin's case. And so hopefully when we get back from that trip, we'll be able to get with both the Martin family and with Barbara and do some more coverage about those cases and where that we're moving forward on those cases. Mustang 65, good to see you. Hayes Young, it's good to see you. And Hayes, you saw the flashlight. You're going to see a lot of this flashlight in the coming days. Hayes is part of a team out west that will be assisting us in these cases, specifically what we're about to do. And like I said, really haven't named that case yet, but I appreciate all our team members on the west side of the country for the fact I couldn't do it without them. And I have an extremely talented group of individuals out there that worked on other cases or another case with us out there. And I look forward to meeting them and using not only this waterproof light. So you may get in some areas because out west, there's things that can, in certain areas that you start prodding around inside of a recess area that's absolutely dark. You're going to run across some critters that might bite you or otherwise. But like I said, I'm having to build some mounting heads for the extension poles so that we would be able to introduce a camera system. And one of the, I've got a couple of cameras. I'll show you one of them tonight. This type of camera is used for, you'll see that it's used inside of duct work in the home. It also is used in sewer systems, so it can handle both dry and water environments. And so anyway, if I can get it out of the box without creating some type of I'm good about breaking things, guys. So anyway. Anyway, this is a camera system that's used for both dry duct work for air conditioners and also can be used in wet conditions such as the areas that we'll be using. When I look at this type of systems and trying to incorporate them into how they can assist search and recovery or search and rescue, because we'll be able to use this even with our when we move into building our search and recovery and for waters, that this system will be used on a lot of different cases across the country, not just on this initial case that we're looking at out west. But like I said, as soon as I break a finger or two, but it's a nice display. I've got two of these. I think those are 9-inch displays. If I read everything that was in there correctly, yeah, it's got some instructions. I watched the videos. It has battery packs and everything. It has a lot of, I think it is camera. Yeah, that's the camera. It has LED lights on it and everything. I'm building the head assembly for this camera with the extension pole so that we'll be able to also articulate it in different directions as needed whenever we're in certain either water environments or recesses or any type of environment that we're trying to search, be it a cave, a well, or otherwise. And it's important that there will be a learning curve on this, no doubt, guys, for my team and myself as we use these things and we learn. You know, there's more technology that within this right here than I ever had when I was working in my law enforcement career, because while we did a lot of freshwater searches and recoveries of victims that may have drowned and things, we didn't have that resources that we brought to the table. With this case here, this initial case, we will be able to bring that to the table. I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to working with our team members. Get a look-sees here. Good to see you. Karen Langston, good to see you. Karen is another case. She is the mother of Doug Teal and is another person that has been our family member that's been fighting for justice for quite a long time. Good to see all of y'all here. Olivia too is must be feeling bad a little bit or something. Oh, Olivia is one of our mods and is feeling under the weather. Get well soon there. Get the feeling right. Yeah, Mustang 65. Like I said, in the next 30 days, because this first trip when I head up, actually Mrs. Steve and I are leaving tomorrow, going to Georgia, moving some stuff for just personal. It has nothing to do with the cold case work, but I'll be on the road for a couple of days moving some items from Georgia down to Florida. And when I finish with that moving, I got to go and head back up into the Midwest regarding Timmy D's and Durante, and then head on up to Evansdale for a few days. Then I'll come back, be home for a few days, and then I'll be heading out west regarding the other case. So a lot of things going on. About 8,000 to 10,000 miles I anticipate in the next 30 days. And then I'll be done for as far as travel for this year. Now there are certain, I have one case here in Florida that I'll be looking at also, and possibly this may be part of that. We have a missing person here that family has reached out to me to go look for. So we'll be heading there after my return from out west. So there's people here in Florida I'll be out searching for also. Molly says, looking forward to seeing what's in the goodie box. Yeah, this is camera system and lighting system. Have two cameras. These cameras can either be used conjunction of working together or independently. And if we work independently, I can have two teams work in different areas and fast tracking our search efforts. And also, like I said, we have some professionals coming in that will be able to assist in searching certain areas that the families always wanted brought to look for. And so um, there's a lot of things going on out west. And I wish I could share more with you right now. Absolutely, justice for Abby and Libby. Al on the Prowl says, great live with Cryptex. And I was on Cryptex show last night, and absolutely a wonderful host. I appreciate and was honored by his desire to interview me. And I think it went reasonably well. I told him I hope I didn't do anything to embarrass him or his channel. But I enjoyed my time spent with him and appreciate all the questions that were asked. And Mustang 65, this is justice for the floor 4. I don't want to butcher those names, and absolutely remember these 4 beautiful children that was lost in the Florida fire, which occurred just prior to the Delphi homicides. Molly said, sorry to people who said hi to my comment earlier. I was checking if there was a show and just left a comment. Wasn't hanging around for 2 hours. I understand that. Earlier today, I received a phone call when I got home, checked my phone from a individual, one of the best friends I ever had in my life, contacted me. I worked with him for many, many years, not only through the jail, but on the road, investigations, SWAT. Our careers paralleled each other for many years. And just prior to the show, he and I spoke for probably 30, 40 minutes. And absolutely amazing individual. He said he subbed to me. I don't know if he'll be in chat anytime in the future, but if he is, I look forward to interacting with him. Great human, great individual. Much respect for the impact that he had in his career in law enforcement, and a lot of great memories I had with him. And anything he says about me, don't believe. Hello, Bama Sin. Good to see you. Everybody's going on, meeting each other, greeting each other. That's very kind of y'all. Obama Sin says, good evening, Mr. Steve. Awesome mods and chat friends. Absolutely. Our channel, my community, absolutely appreciate. They are beyond a doubt awesome. Enjoyed watching you and Cryptex last night. Yeah, I enjoyed that time I spent with him. I thought it was went reasonably well. CJK says, I enjoyed hearing you on Cryptex last night. Absolutely. But like I said, when I go and these channels ask for anything, not only during the interviews, but channels reach out to me occasionally and for opinions about certain things behind the scene. And I absolutely try to work with anyone and all of them and share as much information as I can. And, there's so many great channels out there that bring awareness to these cases. And they're all owed their due respect of how they approach cases. Not all channels approach cases in the same manner as others. Everyone runs their own channel in different ways. And some of them I have the highest respect for, and some, of course, I don't, you know, and get involved with them or stay away from any of the drama. It's just not part of what we do here. Our work is mainly for the cold cases and for these families. But thank you, CJK. Hello, Jill Moser. Good to see you. Yeah, it's a box of goodies. Now, I'm also, like I said, I'm having to assemble for the type of environment and the type of systems that I'm trying to. There's going to be a learning curve because, like I said, when we design or we try to incorporate some of these camera systems, and you know, it's like everything that we used in law enforcement. There's a lot of things that in the early years of the CSI world we didn't have. Now, some of the big labs probably had the fuming tanks for what you see in the world of CSI when you see super glue developing fingerprints. Those fuming tanks, you know, we didn't have them. We started out with aquariums and would create them. You could do it with a big, large plastic bag, or, you know, anything that would contain, because super glue fumes, heated, are not friendly to the human nature. They make fuming wands and everything you had to use in certain environments and had to have certain types of air systems to move that air so that you were isolated from those fumes, because they're not good to the human body, not at all, or even to your eyes. And but there's a lot of things out there that from the old school of how we had to develop certain things. And now that I'm in the private world, I have to develop certain things to accomplish our goal and incorporate this camera system with this light system. Although the camera has its own individual lights, there's going to be that the lights on these things, while they're reasonably strong, but the camera can see further than what the light system that is built into them will allow. So we're going to incorporate some of this other lighting into these heads. And I'm, like I said, I'm looking forward to see how it works real time and see how, you know, what results we get. Hopefully we'll have a huge impact. Steve's trying to blind us. I think I blinded myself. Oh, Molly says, cool, I want one. Mr. Molly is a trained scuba diver. I did not know that. I can't even make a snorkel work. Looking at the water is fine by me. I like my water to be chlorinated and creature free. And some of these places where we're heading out west, it's absolutely not chlorinated and it's not creature free. Whenever or some of the areas that we're going into, like I said, there's some critters out there that can don't mind biting humans, and I don't want to be one of them. Yes, like I said, I've got to test it and see if it is an alternate light source and how it reacts with teeth and bone, and is it on that spectrum. I've got some filters and stuff at home. He can use that light on Halloween. Yeah, that's the ticket. Oh my goodness. Y'all playing disco? I don't have the revolving. I have my, well, it used to work. There it goes. This thing never had a house that had a remote control for a light. What is it? The old clapper system that used to be able to clap. They go on and off. Junior Johnson, he's from Michigan tonight. Good to see you. That's very kind of you, but Molly, yes, you're correct. The TCW Foundation money is a nonprofit 501c3 that you get, any monies donated to it or designated and oversight given to it by the nonprofits, government oversight, and absolutely all those monies you'll get a receipt for. Hello, Cindy. Good to see you. Did you get the James Bond watch? No, I'm not going to be scuba diving. Although when we develop and obtain some of the equipment for the as we move forward, and we've got things to decide as far as the foundation of how fast we're going to fast track the search and recovery boat, and if we're going to go down that path, which is a lot of hours and a lot of work time, that if we go down that path, that not only with the code cases, because I've got so many code cases to work, that if you're out searching for either missing persons or persons that have lost loved ones, either code case, because a lot of these cases, as you see some of these other channels, that some of these code cases are cleared up for the fact that their victims are found in waterways that are closed or along their route of travel. And are we going to be doing any of that? And if so, it's not going to be that we're going to introduce divers into those environments. There's a lot of technologies out there that we can use rather than divers. Don't know how effective it would be versus the divers, but we'll see. Hello, see-through. Good to see you. Yes, it's nice that you have teams that you work with. Yes, I've got several teams scattered across the country, from the East Coast, middle part of the country, and all the way to the West Coast, and even Ruckus down here in Florida. Junior Johnson again. Uh-oh. Getting emails too. Karen says, hello, Miss. How you doing? Hello, Joey. Good to see you. Gail says, Steve, don't break anything. You'll never hear the end of it. Yes, I've broken my fair share of equipment, not only in my career, but Mrs. Steve has a long list of, and I've got pretty good at repairing things around the house. I'm a pretty good do-it-yourselfer, and I've got certain skills I've developed from my gentle hands. There's Cryptex. Thank you, sir. Glad to see you tonight. Thank you for the interview last night. It was amazing. Appreciate it. Barbara says, thank you for everything you and your team does for family. Be careful not to hurt your hands. And that's the things is that, like I said, rather than looking in some of these areas and that we're going to be looking at, because out west, it's a different world than the eastern side of the United States. Out west, they have all different types of animals across in different types of environments. Where out here on the eastern side, I guess the biggest threat that we face are snakes. And I don't want to be bitten by a snake, to tell you the truth. And I've been bitten by a lot of snakes, but non-venomous ones. I've been very fortunate. I should have been bitten several times by venomous snakes, rattlesnakes, timber rattlers, and diamondbacks also. Although we don't have as many diamondbacks in North Georgia when I was a kid, you saw them quite often, but not so much now. Just the timber rattlers and a lot of the which one is it? Copperheads. We have a lot of copperheads. You're not going to really, you might lose a finger or a hand, but Yes, I don't want to get bitten on my hands by anything I'm um, reaching in or searching or sticking under an embankment or something, and some critters under there, be it a beaver or a fox or a badger or you name it. Out west, they have everything. Um, uh, and I don't want to prod in on a bear that might be sleeping. But no, I don't want to get bitten on anything by anything. Joey says, we are late. What are we doing? We had some scuba lights and some equipment come in. I'm preparing to go out west on a case that requires some specialized resources brought to the table in a search. And so we're looking at some of the equipment that I've ordered that's came in and that when I go out west, our team will be using. And that includes these waterproof scuba lights and a camera system that is used both in duct work and sewer systems, septic systems, so that it's waterproof. And because there's a lot of cameras that you just can't introduce into certain environments. They'll fry the circuit. I've learned several camera systems in my years of fishing, trying to take pictures of fish, and just hasn't worked out. Is it like a fiber optics camera? I would imagine it's somewhere along those lines. It's waterproof. I haven't looked at. I know it's LED lights on it, and whatever's within that cable system. This cable here, I think, is close to 100 plus feet, and you can get them up to 300 feet with some of these cable systems. This system here isn't that. I think it's 100 plus feet on this one. I have another one that also is very similar to this. That's 100 plus feet, and like I said, we can either use those simultaneously on the same extension pole system with that head, or we can use two different pole systems to split the workload between different teams to cover more area. Just depends on what we see up there and how we want to proceed. Because like I said, some of these systems we're going to learn to use together, and I look forward to sharing that. Oh yeah, I cut myself with a knife once or twice. Yeah, gotta be careful. Thank you for thinking it is interesting. Like I said, some of this equipment didn't it? I remember the first camera system on a drowning that we used on one of our local lakes that was brought in. And this was, I don't know, probably 25, 30 years ago. It was a huge camera system. It looked like a mini submarine. It was probably 4 feet long and almost 12 inches in diameter. And it was brought in and donated by this corporation of looking for that this company, one of their family members had lost a loved one, and they donated that system to our department. It was a huge system, and but now we're down to some of these cameras that are, as small as a flash. Some of these smaller flashlights that you have. Yeah, Gail, that's good to bring up. Barber Hall has that petition. If any of you haven't seen that petition, go to Timmy D's Facebook, and there's a link to that petition. We'll have it whenever we do the interview with her. We'll have that petition link up also. Boston. I just want to get in that box and touch everything. Yes, I've touched it so far, and now I haven't. I've got to turn on the camera system and get it charged up, and get it assembled and see how it works. The videos on it so far, everything I've seen about that system um, um, looks good. The reviews of that system is excellent, and um, it will ease and lessen the dangers to our team members, which ultimately is what we want to do. Is that we want to, when we're out here doing these searches, whatever type of environment it is, that rather than us physically going into some of these enclosed areas, that if we can take that camera system and run it in, it's so much easier and less of a threat to harm for any of our members. Um, you know, uh, there's a lot to be said for that. I know what you mean. Press all the buttons and power everything up. Oh yes, and it has that one red button, do not touch. And that's how come I don't want to get into any type of aircraft, because if it has a button, do not touch, I won't. I'm just like y'all. I want to touch those buttons. I want to press them to see what happens. Miranda Lee, good to see you. Question, Steve. What is the strangest case you have ever worked? Wow, that's a good question. Um, we had an individual that came into our jurisdiction. Um, he had run across some extremely um, dangerous people, evidently, because they had. He left the state of Tennessee, drove into our state, and now my partner and I, we discussed this case. He was the lead investigator on that, but he showed up at a hospital missing certain body parts, and um, and he was from Tennessee, and he came in, checked himself in the hospital, and was extremely hurting and to the off the charts, and was bleeding profusely, and drove until he couldn't drive anymore, and he made it to our jurisdiction. Um, and he stayed in the hospital for about a week or two, and he never told us who had done that to him or why they had done that to him, and that all he wanted to do is get healthy enough to get back in his vehicle and leave, continue away from the state of Tennessee, which I found amazing. And where he is now, I don't know, but that's probably one of the strangest things. And I don't know whose path he crossed, but their communications and abilities impressed him that and changed his life forever. So that's probably the strangest case. Yes, Gail. Check out Cryptics and subscribe. Great guy. Um, it was an honor to be on his show. I enjoyed it. But that's probably the strangest, having an individual that suffered that type of injury and absolutely did not want to advise who um, committed that those injuries. Yeah, Boston. Yeah, you'll leave everything as you found it. Yes, I believe that. Just trying to get caught up with chat, see what's going on. Thank you, Miranda. Justice for Timmy Dees. Thank you. Build the guy up and then says, "Don't believe him about me." Yes, absolutely. Um, he's a great guy. Um, the only thing that he would ever lie about is me. Oh, well, thank you, Paula. That's very kind of you. Um, I'm glad that you support so many channels. We ate at IHOP today. Not as good as Waffle House, but okay. I was at IHOP a couple weeks ago, actually. I like IHOP too. Gail says, "Thank you. I'm a bit nervous, but God's got this, and anyway, it goes. Absolutely." Thank you, Sensei. Here is Timmy D's petition link, and thank you for that. Very kind of you, Cryptex. I was scuba diving and feeding fish in Cozumel, and proof they were gone. What were you feeding them? And that's what I've got to check. I have when I get back up to Georgia in my lab, I have um, different types of teeth, both game animals and things, and so I'll be checking see what it is. Hello, Scarlet Letter. Good to see you. Oh, Miss Cyrene said barracudas came up and everything left. Oh, made Cryptex about the spiders. Yeah, I shared a story with him about Mrs. Steve designed the True Crime Web, and I've heard dark humor about spiders, and of course, Junior and Al on the Prowl aggravate me about spiders. I don't like spiders. Anything else, I don't really care. But spiders, not my. I'm not a fan of them. Oh yeah, spiders are awesome. Yeah. Hmm. Let's see, just going through chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. Good to see everybody. Oh, Joey said, I have saved the lives of 5 people so far in my life, and I placed fifth in the Idaho State swim team when I was only 8 years old. Absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you for your impact on these families and the lives of those you saved. Um, I only, I've recovered a lot of victims in my career. Um, and I have delivered one child on the side of the road, and um, and saved one drowning victim. But you know, saving 5 is remarkable. Thank you. Um, and this is a good point too. The 5 people I saved were all people in water who were drowning. A little bit different. Some of the things I didn't count as far as when we went in and either hostages or in my career, those I didn't count. Um, and but yes, I had a few of those, and it is absolutely amazing how people react when you have that interaction with them, be it saving a child that's being held, even through some type of domestic issue, and it's being held hostage, and being a part of a team that goes in there and recovers successfully, rescuing that child. I had the honor of being on several of those operations, and absolutely amazing. And you got bit by a dryer, didn't you? I'm telling you, I've been bit by about everything, and hurt by things that you wouldn't think could hurt you. One year, my adopted son got rid of 14 copperheads in one summer. All were close to our front door. We live very close to a large creek. That is a large number of copperheads. We don't see many of those. I mean, we have them, but normally you don't even notice them because they're not like the rattlesnakes that will alert you of their uh, presence. Although the 2 times in the last 5 or 6 years I've almost got bitten was by rattlesnakes that didn't rattle. I looked it up, and they've evolved um, in certain regions of the United States, of whereas they won't alert you of their presence, for the fact that through selective, those that rattle and those that have that temperament to rattle, that when you dispose of them, evidently the ones that don't rattle, that gene is passed along. And so they're saying that rattlesnakes don't rattle as much as they used to. Kelly O, good to see you. Hey, Blackwater, $10 super sticker. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm about to go on the road, and I'll be using that $10 in just a few days. Yes, the camera that we're using on this system is about 3/4 of an inch, which is, if you took 3 or 4 ink pens and put them together, that's about the size of this camera. And so we'll see how it works. But now that's not the actual size of the camera. That's the camera and the LED lighting system that surrounds the camera lens, is about 3 or 4 pins, 3/4 of an inch or to an inch in width or diameter. Junior, certain body parts, yes. That individual on that case was. Oh, absolutely. Like I said, we're going to be on the road, and I'm going to be doing a lot of travel. All the future shows are going to be from the road itself. in the coming next 30 days. So there's a lot of things happening. And get a look. See, says justice for Timmy Dees. Absolutely. Thank you. I called you today, Mr. Stephen, left a message. Okay, I'll get with you before I leave tomorrow. Sean. Kelly O. We love Mrs. Steve. Oh, Peyton Place. Mr. Steve, hello to you and Mrs. Steve. I sent $10 in on your website. Thank you. Appreciate that. There's your blue light. Like I said, we're going to be on the road in coming days, and absolutely we'll use that. Nothing better than new equipment. It is. But the bad part about some of the new equipment is that the reviews of it, and that's what I mostly go by. When I look at this equipment, either it's the scuba lights or the camera systems, which products have really good reviews for the fact that that means a lot. It has to have not only a high score, but it has to have a number of reviews. So trying to get the equipment that will work and last, because some of this stuff is, pretty expensive. It's not cheap, and we want to use it for a long time. We want to get that shelf life out of it, that multiple years, multiple cases. Can it pay itself back on one case? Yes. If it's allows us to bring closure to any case, then of course it's well worth whatever that return is. But when we buy this equipment, we want a good return on investment and be used time and time again for multiple cases. And but yes, I like getting new equipment. Yes, these predators that are out there that prey upon our weakest, be it children or the elderly, there is a section of our society that should not exist. And we absolutely should focus and target and see what we can do to rid ourselves of those certain predators that are out there. Oh my goodness. Smother, color, chunk, dice, peppered, cap, top, all of my favorite country Waffle House. Oh my goodness. That's the works, I think. Just about. No, I think when you can get it with the works, and it even has chili on it. True Crime. Now that has to be hard on all of you going into those houses. Praying you could save the child. I'm glad they hopefully all went well. I think only we were supporting team on one case, whereas the individual that was holding the hostage child ended up self-harm. Didn't hurt the child. The child was rescued successfully by another SWAT team that we were supporting. But on the ones that we went in on, it's 2 or 3 different times in my career, we were successful with no lives lost, but it's just by miracle. Peyton Place. Snakes, no. Oh, I'm going to have a lovely sleep thinking all the dangerous things are far away. Oh, man. Black Widows laughing at Barbara. Barbara says, my name is Bubbles. There's got to be a story to that. Um, 8 tracks. They're talking about 8 tracks. And this is a good example. People that hurt animals are sick also. And it is part of the trilogy of certain things that certain type of individuals, serial offenders, that they have a history in their youth and early stages of hurting animals. So yes, they're absolutely sick. Ah, look, he says that the last 5 he's seen did not rattle also. And like I said, the research I looked at, that they are evolving, that rattlesnakes have started along that path of not making you aware. Like Weather's going to get a clicker. Peyton Place says, I got a blue light now. I can sleep well tonight. Yes, it's almost like Christmas when I unbox. Like I said, I try to get this stuff and get the equipment up, whereas we can go out um, and everything's prepared when we get on site that we can make the most of those trips because it's you know all these people that assist us on these searches and things. Um, we have to make the most of our time on site versus just um, and try to work out the kinks. Although there is still a learning curve that we're going to learn, and we'll see how it goes. And that's where our hats offer to everyone that contributes to our foundation, and especially um, we have an individual that always steps up to the plate when we have, and that's one of the reasons I really don't ever push for raising funds. I appreciate everybody that supports us, but we have a individual that knocks it out of the park. Anytime we have a case that is going to be um, that the cost are um, beyond what most YouTube channels and most foundations can do, they always stepped up and said, "Here, whatever you need on this case, let us know." And it's amazing. Um, Mr. Steve, thank you for continuing to fight the good fight. When you're constantly faced with these terrible cases, you have to be really strong to see the things that you've seen and keep going. It's years and years, and I work with some people that weren't able to compartmentalize a lot of the things. But yes, there's a lot of law enforcement officers out there that my hats are off to that absolutely are amazing on the things and what they've done for these families. And you'll see these family members that I work with, um, and they're when they have these case files that they present to me, and they haven't had the training or the exposure that I've had throughout my career to these cases. But some of the things that they've done, absolutely amazing. And and how they'll step up to um, and take that effort to go and try to get answers. And there's going to be amazing stories that you'll hear from individuals like Barbara Hall, um, uh, Durante Martin's family, of where they've what they've done and how they've looked at those images of their lost loved ones, and all for the effort to get answers and get justice for their loved ones. Absolutely amazing. Um, Steve, be glad we don't have the black mamas or brown snakes and the taipans. I guess I know about the taipans. Are those the one that's in the Philippines? I know brown snakes are Australia, I believe. Uh, uh, Black mambas are in mambos or mambos, however how you pronounce it, are in Africa. The taipans, I don't know, but they don't sound friendly. Thank you, Barbara, about the foundation. Fair maidens. In your collection, you should have a drone and a couple of scent dogs. At times, they can still pick it up. Yes. As far as the K9, we've looked at it, and I have certain um, access to handlers that can come and do the cadaver part of it. The drones is something that we will be uh, obtaining also. Uh, when we get to a certain, I have the funding for it. I just haven't purchased it yet. Haven't decided which one to get. There's so many of them out there, but whenever we um, have a case that we need that, I will absolutely go out and get one for that. Bama Sin has been a member for 17 months. Thank you. Appreciate that. Bama Sin, $17. Thank you. Once again, there's your blue light. Appreciate that. Hello, Bling. Good to see you. The latest batch of coyotes in my areas have been rather quiet. I thought for a long time that coyotes have learned to be quiet. And I don't know how many of y'all have, I guess coyotes are across the United States, but most of my life in the state of Georgia, we did not have coyotes. They reintroduced them to help control, I think, the deer herd. Um, and back in late, uh, maybe early 2000s, late 1990s or whatever. And when they introduced the coyotes and where they're at now in our region of North Georgia, um, absolutely amazing how they can. I remember the first time Mrs. Steve, after we were married and went, and she moved up into where we lived at out in the woods. The first time she had heard coyotes, she called me. She couldn't figure out what it was. It sounded like a raiding party of of, of Indians of someone, and they do it. One or two of them make you think that you're being attacked. If you haven't ever heard them before, they can be absolutely disconcerting. Oh, I love king snakes. Yes, I if I can find me a king snake, I go out and I get it and I bring it as close to the house as I can. I love king snakes. True Crime with Miss Cyrene generously donated to the foundation. If I missed it, and I may not have gotten to it yet, but thank you. Appreciate that. Um, let me see. No, I don't see it yet. Let's see. Try and get this Google machine to work again. I'm real good about getting the Google machine to work. Molly says that they think that the super scary snake and spiders are mostly in Australia. Not that we don't have plenty of them here. Snakes don't bother me, even the venomous ones, but the spiders, we've got our fair share of them. I think they can fly now or something. I saw on the news about flying spiders, and so that caused me a lack of sleep for several days. Yes, the website. Thank you. Yeah, the foundation is, if you went to truecrimeweb.com, there's a link to the foundation on there. But I missed Miss Cyrene for whatever reason. It's not showing up. I apologize for that. I do. And this thing jumps on comments. Someone wants to reintroduce wolves here. They must be off their rocker. I have a wonderful story about the red wolves of Georgia. I'll have to tell y'all one of these days. And I have a couple of dogs, and don't they love anything. They roll and stuff like that. Oh, oh, that's funny. Oh, Boston Christian is discussing a bad man that got 650 years at trial. Yeah, he walked slow, deliberate, quiet up the hall, head hanging low, trying to pull one over on the deputies and judge. That wasn't him. Yeah, there's some absolute evil people out there. Yeah, we had some people that were keeping some red wolves in our jurisdiction illegally, and they got loose. They ate everything in the neighborhood, everything. Oh, it is under a different name. Your last live. Oh, okay. Thank you. Um, I'll have to look that up. Appreciate it, Miss. flying spiders, I'll have to. I'm telling you. Karen Langston says, thank you, Mr. Steve, and your wife and team who are helping so many people. Travel safe and keep us updated as much as possible. Justice for Doug Till, justice for Timmy Dees, and justice for Durante. Thank you. And thank you, Karen. And absolutely look up Doug Till case, and you'll, Karen has fought a heroic fight for justice for Doug, and absolutely amazing. Nightbot's about to get in trouble here. Um, you can't jump. Nightbot bad. You can't be jumping on Barbara. I'm gonna tell Mrs. Steve and Molly check up on Nightbot. Oh, Miss Irene says no problem. It was a 501c. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that is a good point. I need, but I don't know how to, because I don't want to put out certain names. But we'll work with that. Thank you, Molly. I need to slap Nightbots from here to Sunday. He must be hitting the bottle guy. I have no idea why that message was timed out. Sober up, dude. Get your act together. Anna talks about her dogs. Noisy and let me know if anything is coming, other than a few nasty habits. They're my companions. Mrs. Steve, same way with her pets. Anna's talking to Nightbot. Also, I tell you, Nightbot gets you. I tell you. Well, the first time I saw Nightbot, I thought, man, that's a great name. And of course, like I said, I didn't know what all was going on with Nightbot. Now I know better. Oh man, yeah, Nightbot's in a bad way. Oh my goodness, Anna. A wolf swam the river and had one of the cats for Christmas breakfast. Oh man. Now that's living in a harsh environment. Let me tell you. I don't know. It wasn't that cat's day to get eaten by a wolf that swam the river. My goodness. Yeah. One of these days, I'll share my wolf story of where we had a call I answered one night. I was just trying to tell Blaine to run. I didn't know Nightbot was going to get. Oh man, that's funny. Oh, Nightbot. Bling. You was telling Bling to run. Oh man, that's funny. Oh. All righty, guys. Well, like I said, I wanted to share some of the stuff and equipment when I go out west to meet up with my team. Um, absolutely, some of this equipment we couldn't do what we're about to do regarding this case that we're about to go out on, and I'm looking forward to learning how it can be used not only in this case but in future cases. And it is a huge role that these resources can bring to possibly locating victims missing and assist us in the investigations of these crimes and these missing persons. And I wanted to share that with you before we hit the road. Like I said, I'm going to be limited. I've got some personal travel I got to take care of this weekend, and then I'll be on the road working the cold cases in the Midwest and up into Iowa, and then returning home, and then be heading out to the West Coast and working with a great group of individuals out there that absolutely utmost respect for. But y'all stay safe out there, and we'll see y'all guys soon. Thank y'all. Bye-bye.